Okay, we're gonna get started, and, as we've been doing lately, we are recorded live, so people can listen in to us today. And, so if you speak, please make sure you state your name and title or name or where you're from before you speak, and we'll try to keep up the good work we've been doing with that. I'm sure the clerks appreciate that. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Okay, Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Here.
Ms. Frenchco, Mr. Malloy.
Here. Okay, items number one, reading of the minutes. And that was from the 24th, it did not pass last week, so we'll give it another go this week. Reading of the minutes for last week, approve the bills, and to approve additional appropriations that's submitted by the auditor's office. Common Police Court is on here again, which did not go through last time on one-to-one vote. And then we have the Youth Subsidy Grant, Planning Commission, Law Library. I did get a letter from courts basically saying, hey, if you don't know what we're doing over here, we invite all three commissioners to come tour and see what we're doing, see where the money's being spent. And it was a polite letter, but it was done basically saying, hey, we know you didn't put this through for whatever reason, so if there's an issue with any of the commissioners, please, come and see our department. So I hope we take them up on that. Yes.
Christy Cesaric, Auditor's Office. Auditor Yoder wanted me to let you know that Fund 041 for, it does say common pleas on the minutes because adult probation falls under common pleas, but this is adult probation, and this is their special revenue fund that gets fees. It's not general fund money, you know, and we have checked to make sure that, you know, they had, followed budgetary rule with that.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you for that. Youth Subsidy Grant, Planning Commission, and Law Library. Yep.
Law Library, they're just fixing an over budget in their computer equipment and software line item, and that is Fund 71, one of their special revenue funds. Juvenile Court, they're, amending a grant, if you see down below too, later that we're gonna fix their revenue, they received more money than they thought, but they had already appropriated some of it, which is why those two numbers don't match. And then Planning Commission, it's their Fund 049, which is special revenue, and it's to increase for, I forgot to ask them to see what the CRA is, but for, Liberty Resolution.
Community reinvestment.
Thank you.
That's one we just passed for Liberty and the hotel.
That was it, yeah.
Thank you.
Increasing the revenue for that so that they can spend the money. And that's Christy from the Auditor's Office. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Christy, thank you. All right, number 5, transfer appropriations submitted through the auditor's office. Christy, you're up again. You just go down the list, read them off as they are.
Excellent. So Christy from the Auditor's Office. The first one is the Youth Subsidy Grant 23 for Fund 112. They're just transferring or cleaning up some accounts before year end. Their grant ends June 30th. Probate, $1,500 from Fund 001. I'm sorry, my list is a little out of order on this one. They're just moving some money from operation supplies to seminars, trainings, and stuff. CSEA, $15,000 Fund 006. They're just transferring money from attorney to consultant. Sanitary engineers, I'll let Bob take that.
Bob Majorano, Sanitary Engineers. The $7,110 from the 600 fund is for the purchase of Esri GIS software. We had budgeted for it, but the price had gone up, so we're transferring money from our workers' comp fund or workers' comp appropriation to the computer software. The $76,780 is for our Mineral Ridge hydraulic Caldwell tanks change order number 1. That was approved a week or two ago by the board, and I'm just transferring money into the appropriation so we can get a purchase order for that. The money's coming out of our transfers out and engineering appropriations. The $296,665 transfer is for our Elm Road water line project. It's for the EDG contract modification. I think that was on last week's meeting. The money's coming from our meters, distribution main maintenance, and hydrant appropriations, and it's going to other funds. So we can, again, get the purchase order for that as well.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Common Police Court, 7,000.
From Fund 055, they are fixing an over budget, so they're transferring budget from office equipment to buildings, grounds, and maintenance. Then Domestic Relations Juvenile Court, the $2,000 for Fund 033, they, are transferring from equipment maintenance to permits and licenses, because they're buying 10 WebEx license renewals. NeoCap, $175,408.94. I think I've missed Domestic Relations, $500. Sorry, Fund 001. They are transferring money from budget from non-capital equipment to office supplies. The NeoCap, $175,408.94 from Fund 990. They are closing out their 2023 grant year, and they're getting ready for the 2024, so they're moving some budget from different accounts that need those monies. Then also NeoCap, $41, Fund 991. They are transferring budget from seminars and training to consultants. And then, Community Development, fiscal year 20, for $1,438.46. That's, Fund 225. And they are transferring budget from admin cost reimbursement to advertising and printing. It says they're doing a legal ad for the CIG 22. The Health Board, $2,700 from Fund 974. They're fixing an over budget and transferring budget from food service and office supplies to vehicle insurance. And then $2,000 for Fund 979. They're also fixing an over budget, and they're transferring budget from insurance to hospitalization and life insurance.
And as we mentioned before, these are interdepartmental, and these have been budgeted for. These are just moving around within the department.
In some instances, they're fixing an over budget. In other instances, they're transferring the budget ahead of time to avoid an over budget in a particular account.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 6, receive the amended certificate of the County Budget Commission number 9, 2023 Youth Subsidy Grant FY 23, Fund 112.
The youth subsidy, Christie from the auditor's office, they are receiving more money than they had expected for grant year 23. So they are amending the revenue budget to account for that.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Number 7, authorize Board of Commissioners to write a letter of support to the Federal Home Loan of Cincinnati Affordable Housing Program in support of the partnership of TMP 2023 Emergency Home Repair Application to the AHP program. It confirms that on December 7th, Trumbull County awarded TMP a grant amount of $1 million for emergency home repairs. Of this award, Trumbull County supports and approves leveraging $50,000 as a committed funding source toward this AHP application. The need far exceeds the resources. The board has worked along with TMP to support revitalization of communities throughout the county. It's a critical step towards their mission. Any about this, Mauro?
Yeah, so Mauro Cancela Mesa, County Commissioner. Matt Martin, the director of TMP, contacted me. I thought it was wise to put it on the agenda for a letter of support. Back in December of 2022, Trumbull County awarded TMP over $1 million for emergency home repairs. This is basically using a portion of that money to leverage for more federal dollars, so that they can do more of the good work that they've done in Trumbull County. That's not a formality, but we're just signing a letter of support for TMP. I think we can all attest to the work that they do.
Okay, number 8, grant permission to the county engineer to close the road listed Braceville Robinson Road.
Stephen Gerberry with the engineer's office. This is just to seek permission to close Braceville Robinson Road for a culvert replacement from June 5th until June 30th. And the detour listed here is south on Braceville Robinson Road, west on Nelson Mosier, north on State Route 534, east on Helsey Fussing.
Okay, number 9, concur with Trumbull County Engineer to grant the special annual supplier fleet permit for fleet vehicles to transport aggregate, concrete, construction goods, and other like material, Norwood Trucking and JGF Trucking.
Stephen Gerber with the engineer's office. These are just, well, Norwood is actually a new permit, a new company that was seeking a permit. And then JGF Trucking is a renewal for an annual permit.
Thank you. Concur with Trumbull County Engineer to grant the quarterly operator fleet permit upon lands posted Trumbull County roadways not to exceed 8,000 pounds. Auganek Custom Hardware,
Yes,
hardwood.
yeah, Steve Gerber again from the engineer's office. Auganek is doing some, work in Weathersfield Township for their, timbering of woods, and will be traveling on Salt Springs Road that has a weight limit.
Number 11, to approve modification number 3 to the engineering agreement with CT Consultants for the Mineral Ridge Hydraulic Study Project. Modification for an additional $37,000, revising the total contract amount to $670,679 to be paid by sanitary engineer fund. No county general revenue funds will be utilized, and it's due to the consultant engineering incurred additional costs as this is all of the contract work extending beyond the original completion date. Gary,
Gary Newbrow, Trumbull County Sanitary Engineer. Yeah, Commissioner, due to some delays in, getting the materials out there for the project, this did run over, time-wise. And as a result, the engineer had to spend more time in the field, and also, they had to do that additional work, regarding, there were some issues in the telemetry, of the tank being able to talk to the valves, you know, within the pump station, when to open, when to close. And it did, cause CT Consultants to, perform additional work as a result of these things. Also, that, parking lot improvement also. So anyway, this is just a modification of their contract, the project.
The funds are coming from where?
This is off of that, $3 million that we got from, the state.
Okay, number 12, authorize Trumbull County Planning Commission with concurrence from the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineer's Office to accept the irrevocable letter of credit, number 442, in lieu of a maintenance bond. Final plat of Forest Hills Estates, plat number 5, and Skyline Lane dedication, Howland Township, issued by Farmers Bank for a period of 2 years starting November 21, 2022 to November 21, 2024, in the amount of $7,120 for the sanitary sewer improvements completed for Forest Hills.
This is part of our Nick Coggins, Trumbull County Planning Commission. This is part of our major subdivision process. The developer is putting in 11 new lots in Howland Township. And part of that, they put in new sewer, new water, and a new road. Part of our regulations require that a 2-year maintenance bond be held in the county's name, or an irrevocable letter of credit in lieu of the maintenance bond. So if anything should happen to those improvements that the developer put in, the county has that bond that can go back to repair it for this new development that's going in. 11 new lots in Howland ready for sale from Skyline Developers.
There was an issue years ago when I first started about who houses the maintenance bond and who keeps record of that. That would be the planning commission, correct, not the commissioners?
I have to look at that, because that is, parcel, we require those bonds. I think we track them. I believe the commissioners have them.
Okay.
And then, they are pulled at the recommendation of either the sanitary or highway engineer based on what that letter of credit is for, or that maintenance bond is for. So for the road, highway engineer could say, hey, there's potholes, it's cracking, we need to pull maintenance. Water line or sewer line breaks, sanitary engineer would do that. That process is, it's partnered with both highway sanitary commissioners and the planning.
But I know there was difficulty locating the actual maintenance bond the last time.
That process, there was some issues with, I think they got recommended to the prosecutor's office.
I will check on it.
Yeah.
I will check on it. Amy, can we make a note of that? I just don't wanna go down that same path.
Thirteen, to amend agenda item dated October 2022, change the name from IBI Group to Arcadis Engineering Services USA, Inc., and approve the change order in the amount of $1,151, increasing the original agreement from $49,500 to $50,651, and authorize Denny Malloy to execute said change order for the West Farmington Sanitary Sewer Household Connection Project, funded through PY 2021 Community Development Block Grant Allocation Program and the PY 2022 Home Sewage Treatment Reserve Program.
Nick Coggins with the Trumbull County Planning Commission. This is part of the West Farmington Sewer, Connection Project that's going on using two different funding sources. First, that change order 1 is for 43 connections, 43 households being connected. Just a small increase for those 43 houses. And then the name change from IBI to Arcadis, that is, company changed their name that holds the contract. So, we're changing it to keep our paperwork in accordance with the grants and monitoring.
Nick, I'm sorry, is it increasing from 43 to 44?
Yes,
Says that.
adding one household.
Adding one household, okay.
Yeah.
And number 14, receive and place on file the April monthly financial report for Trumbull County Tourism Bureau, as submitted by Beth Carmichael, Executive Director. Beth, you got anything else going on at this point you wanna talk about?
Well, if you are a AAA motorist member and you received the newspaper, we had a full-page article on Trumbull County. We hosted Frank Verdecchio, in March. He's the editor there and did a great job writing us up, very positive. And we, on May 22nd, we hosted a 1-hour, road trip show on New Day Cleveland and the Cleveland market. That's been really successful. We've seen a 50% increase in digital downloads of our visitor's guide in the first 5 months. We're doing we're collecting more, email addresses so that we can send out our newsletters. So things are rocking and rolling. I will be out of the office in the next about 3 weeks as I go in for knee replacements. Staff's got it under control.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up, Beth, I was at the fairgrounds yesterday, and I bought some advertising for myself as commissioner, and a couple of other groups bought advertising for the grandstand and for other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any, footprint or any advertising plans at the fair to promote Trumbull tourism?
Yeah, we haven't in the past, and we don't have anything for this year. We can certainly look at it for next year.
They have some pretty decent real estate still left on the grandstand. I thought it would look great to have our website, our tourism website. I don't know if you have
Okay.
anything left in your budget, but they had 2 or 3 spots left, and the first thing I thought of is, we kinda need to be up there,
Okay.
so.
I'll
Maybe
have
if you can look
Kimber,
into
since
that.
I'm literally going in tomorrow to the
Okay.
hospital, so I can have Kimber look at it and look at pricing.
They were like $3,500
That's
or
what I heard.
something, but it was,
I've already, yeah.
it looked, it just seems like we need to be there.
Okay,
Well, especially with the amount of people we get from Ashtabula at the fair and all
Agreed.
these different counties, so.
agreed. Well, and we would love to be there and hand out our visitors guides, but our requests for visitors guides have already increased more than we've ever had, and so we're looking at an extra, like, $5,000 to $10,000 for an additional increase of 5,000 to 10,000 pieces, so we're looking at that as well.
And the fair board may even be able to create unique space for you, maybe something different than what they already have to offer,
Okay.
because of the tourism bureau, something, billboard in the fair or something like that, but it'd just be really nice to see what all they're doing out there. The buildings look great, the roofs on the new buildings look fantastic, they're doing the parking areas, and things are coming along really, really nicely there. And it just seemed like to me, the one thing we're missing is now they're gonna come, they're gonna see how beautiful the fair is now. It'd be really nice to grab them, at least our website posted somewhere, so they can
Yep.
see things outside of fair time.
We'll look at short-term for this year, and then we'll talk to them about 2024 as well, and see what we might be able to do.
Thank you. Paula?
Paula Bavoda, Potts Clerk. We have a nice, booth at the fair, Commissioner's booth, that we would be happy to put any literature, the tourism guide, whatever we could do. That's why we're there, to take any problems from the public.
And
and-
that reminded me that we do give you guys,
You do.
I think that because of
Yes.
COVID.
Yes, but,
But I think we give you a couple of cases of guides
yes,
that we deliver
We leave
to
them
that
out.
booth.
Yeah, we definitely leave them out,
Yeah.
right up front.
most people want maps, so we send them to the highway engineer's booth for maps. That's the most requested thing.
Wow.
But they do enjoy coming in, and if they have a problem, we write it down, but, we have a lot of senior service levy, literature, so, Miss Diane will be providing that, but, we are there to help with that, so.
Paula, should we have them talk to you direct, if I have somebody in my office contact you?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
That'd be great.
All right,
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you, yes.
Good luck on your surgery, too.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, number 15, adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from ARP Act funds, Johnson Township Fire Department. This was the, legal came back, and approved the cut, and this is just the wording for it to make sure that we can get them the funds, correct, Jim?
That's correct.
Okay? And then,
And number 16 would just be the,
Jim, say your
Your
name, too.
name.
oh, Jim Masaki, Auditor's Office. Number 16 is just the, unfortunately, there's a lot of paperwork with these, ARPA grants. And Johnson Township will be filling it out, and this just authorizes the commissioners in Johnson Township to sign that agreement.
The number 17 is the Bloomfield Township Green Space, and we appropriated $94,000 for the sidewalks, lampposts, walking paths, for that. And then the wording that goes along with number 17 to make that possible. The number 18 is a follow-up to that, allowing us to partner up with Bloomfield to sign the contract to get them the $94,000. Number 19 is the ARP funds for the Cortland Community Foundation for Safety City. And this was the, playground area for $35,000, Safe City project. And then number 20 is the follow-up to that, for us to be able to partner up with Cortland Community Foundation, to get them the $35,000 so they can go ahead and start their construction. Then we have one here for, let's see, this is different. 21, resolution granting applicable elected representative approval in connection with the issuance of the County of Franklin, Ohio Healthcare Facilities Revenue Bonds, Ohio Living Communities. All our thoughts?
All of the vote of clerk. Commissioners, we have a public hearing tomorrow, 10:15. Blake Beechler, our bond counsel, will be here. This is required, it's a formality required by the code. Franklin County is the issuer of these bonds, and since, they are going to Ohio Living Lake Vista, that's in Cortland, in Trumbull County. So this is a formality, and, Mr. Beechler will explain everything, and it won't take long at all.
Yeah. It's a long one.
Yeah.
Number 22, amend agenda item dated May 9, 2023. Change order number 1 submitted by Ohio Machinery, DBA Ohio CAT. Amendment necessary to correct the total amount to $27,280.07. The amount had to be changed due to a typographical error. That's for the, Trumbull County Family Court generator. Paula?
Commissioner, Paula Voda class, that was the overtime where they had to, I believe, Mr. Hart said they had to shut it down.
On a weekend?
Yes, sir, and I believe that just it was maybe 40 cents off, but we have to fix it. We can't be 40 cents off for that, or to make the record correct.
So it's not for an additional 2,300?
No, sir, it's
Okay.
just that it's 40 cents actually.
We already approved the
Yes.
additional 2330 before.
Yes, so we're
This is
just,
just correcting the amount.
yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, good catch on that. Okay, that's the end of the regular agenda for now. Does anyone have anything else on the table? Carrie?
Yes, Commissioners, I put together this spreadsheet of projects for which I've submitted the applications for the ARP. And basically, as far as I know, Tanya has approved them. Jim can double check that. But all of these projects are pretty much stuck right here. They're ready to go. All I need is this last piece of the funding with the ARP funds.
How much total are we looking at?
You're looking at 2.76. I got a total there, at the bottom. And, I've sought, all other funding sources have been exhausted as, how we can get more grant funds in here to either lower these assessments or to move the project forward. And, anyway, this is where we're at, and like Stillwagon Road, people are calling me, I tell them, well, I got in a request to the commissioners for this additional $250,000, so we can take it to a public hearing. On that, those next two underwater with Blueprint Phase 2, and for that Braceville, regionalization project, yeah, we need to get the engineering moving on both of those. Like I mentioned last week, we got $2.5 million in principal forgiveness on that Braceville Champion, project, and we have to have that design, engineering, and a contract awarded before sometime next May. So we got less than a year to get this thing designed and bid out and ready to go. Down there on that, the Scoville Drive, Smith Stewart State Line Road, all three of these projects, I have the residents calling me on this, when's this gonna go? When we gonna get to a public hearing? And I let them know that on each one of them, that I do have requests in the commissioners, for the ARP funds before we can move forward. For that McKinley Heights project, that's, Crane Drive, Phase 3. That's another area where we have unsewered area. We had petitions. I'm going to put in an OPWC grant request for this one in the fall, but we need to get the engineering moving on it now. And I think you're already familiar with our countywide, service lateral program to connect in, those who financially qualify to the sewer.
Ask on that one too, Tanya?
Jim,
Which one?
I've sent all the applications to you, yeah,
Countywide lateral.
Yes.
yeah,
We have all the.
Yeah, we have them all. Gary really has, you have the next step as to what processes you need to get it before on the agenda. I mean, as far as like, if you're engineering, you have to either go out for proposals or...
Well, I would like to have before I go out for the RFQ, I would like to have the approval that we,
Oh, okay.
We have
Well,
the
we
funds.
haven't, see, we don't get you the opinions only because Tanya is saying those are internal.
okay.
I mean, obviously, we can speak about them. Come on down after the meeting.
What do we have to do to get these on the agenda so he can get moving on them? It's basically, I think we.
Well, if he's saying engineering, he's saying he has to go out for proposals or whatever step you have to follow.
Well, do you want me going out for an RFQ if I don't have the money to pay for it?
Oh, no, we haven't.
Well, that's what
So
I'm
do we have to
wondering.
formally put it on the agenda first, or before he goes
So
out?
we have to
for
appropriate the ARP funds, we ask for an opinion, can we use them? Don't we have
Well,
to
you're not
actually do that?
appropriating it for anything until you have something to spend it on. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, that's
After the meeting, you two get together.
Come
If
on.
there's
Okay.
anything that could be ready tomorrow to throw on the agenda, Paul, if you can accommodate them to get this thing moving. Gary, if there's anything here, do you see, let's work on this now, I can do this right now, I can do that right now.
Okay,
Get it for tomorrow's agenda, and let's move forward on some of this.
okay, all right,
So whatever you gotta do between the two to get the wording right.
okay. All right,
Good, Mauro?
Sounds good.
okay,
And
and,
these will affect Weathersfield, Braceville, Champion, 2 in Vienna, 1 in Brookfield, another Weathersfield, and then the other one's countywide, so there's a lot of people affected in this thing, so we've already appropriated it, we've already have it on the list, we already have it on the sheet, this has already been on your priority list, you've shown us many, many, many times.
yes,
Now, let's get the wheels moving and get the money going where it needs to go.
okay, all right, sounds good, thank you, Commissioner.
You two figure it out.
All right. Also, I thought I'd also mention Elm Road. I'm planning on having that public hearing set up for that by the end of the week. So that's one of my objectives for this week, to get that scheduled, get the fact sheets written, get the agendas put together for the public hearing, and there's, you know, there's a considerable amount of work, but I think I'm planning on having it done by the end of the week, and we
They'll be happy to hear
we should have a firm date on when we're gonna have that meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, while we're on ARP things, Mr. Shaver's been, patiently waiting for us for weeks, to see what, you weren't here last week, Jim. I was here and he asked about the status of it. I looked at it there. We need to get the opinion from Tanya. We still need to do that.
We have
Move
to have
forward
two
Tanya.
commissioners,
That's,
if you so desire.
that's why we're having here. I'm asking that we move it to Tanya
Absolutely.
to get the permission. She's been taking about a week or two on these things after she does them. And then once that comes back with the amount, then we can go ahead and get an agenda item and move money forward that way. Sorry it wasn't done before, after we had those last meetings. We put a whole bunch of stuff there. I thought that was in the packet of the ones we had talked about to go forward. It wasn't, but it officially is now. And we will try to fast track that as fast as we can with her. I think it's the only one right now that we're submitting pending to her, right?
We should have the one for, United Way too, submitted.
Okay, we move that one forward,
Talked about
right?
that was on the reduced request.
Yes, yes, okay,
You both said you wanted that moved forward,
Yes.
so I'm submitting that.
okay.
I think that's about the only two we have pending. She just came back with, hearts and paws yesterday.
Hey, is that one,
Is
did
that
they
ready to
approve
go?
that one?
Well, yeah, but we can't do that
Not the
tomorrow.
language.
No, but we can,
It's just saying it's approved.
it's approved, but it's not,
Right, it's not ready for.
not ready for the agenda.
Right, you have to do a
Okay.
resolutions and the agreement.
Are there any others on your list there that you feel we're ready to move forward to her? From these ones that came from the townships or
Well,
that
that's
were
up-
results of our meeting?
Yeah, I mean, that's all the ones I've been told to submit, so.
Let me see your list there, if you could.
Well, these are the ones that are pending. You know, quite detailed, let me see if I even brought that other sheet. I don't think that was me, oh, there we go. These are all the ones that are pending. I'm talking 6 sheets.
Pending, that we have applications for, but
Yeah.
may or may not have moved forward.
Oh,
on.
no, they have not moved forward. These are the ones she submitted.
All right, did we, Downbeat Musical Arts, we talked about that, Warren came up with their half, can we move that one forward?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Jimmy, mind if I put a,
I don't know if that will qualify.
I don't either, but
But-
until we get
Yeah,
an answer from her, it's still pending here, I'd like to clean off the books the best we can. Yeah, there's one for Bristol Township Park, for $16,000, I'd like to move that one forward
it's fine.
for Bristol. Downbeat Musical Hearts. Mr. Herron has been here quite a few times, I'd like to move that forward to see what qualifies out of his.
I would as well.
How much was that?
Bishop Karen.
It's adjusted to $228,000.
I think he's adjusted it with you too, 'cause it was originally, I think, $500,000.
And then it went down to three twenty-five, down to 228.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's all gonna qualify and stuff with the health department stuff in here, but at least we'll get an answer from her and then we can decide how much to spend after that.
Right.
I'd like to move forward the Harriet Upton Taylor Association to upgrade their HVAC. See if that would work. Some of these you already have answers on, Jim, so this is a little outdated. So the Johnson ones are on here, and Kinsman's on here, it's already been denied. Tours is done, yep.
Look to Vienna Historical Society.
Yeah, Vienna Historical Society, let's move that forward, cemetery restoration. There's one for Warren Civic Music, that was before me. It's only 10,000, but I wonder if they went to Warren first, like we asked. We'll have to, like, follow up with that with Warren Civic Music. There's a Bristol Township one, the house township vehicles. I'm not feeling real good about that, being that Kinsman just got denied to house their township vehicles. So let's not worry about that one right now. There's a historical walkway and a memorial to coal mining in Mineral Ridge, $20,000. We can move forward on that one.
Yep.
Vernon Township was denied on their road project. So, they were gonna go back to, the trustee there to see how we can modify that. We got the Bloomfield.
But, Virgin Diamond we have
Right.
already secured, right?
Yeah, as
yeah,
far as
no,
I
yeah.
know, that's already
We already
been, yeah,
did that.
that was
It's
already
all
on the
clear,
agenda.
the only question is, Tanya's question was, is the state doing it directly, but they have to hire a
Yeah, and
contractor.
I told you, yes.
They're gonna hire a contractor.
Yes, the contractor does it for the state, yes.
We're still waiting on the tower, that's the.
While I'm working on that, we have approval,
Right.
now we have to start going with contractors as far as who's, we can, from. That'll be a next project.
Right, Vienna has two, one of them, they're both 60,000, renovation of historical building and cemetery. Move them both forward, and maybe we can figure a way to combine, maybe half and half to each. Both of the Vienna ones. And then
How much was it for?
that was, 60. So they have two of them for 60, one for cemetery, one for historical building.
I'd like to move the Animal Welfare League one up as well. Yeah, I know, maybe not for that amount, but
Oh, yeah, they had to revise them.
they had a revised amount.
Yeah, they went from 750 to 250. So we can ask on that. Yep. And then also, we got one somewhat fresh, but it's only for 10 grand for Champion Police, for a generator for the police department. See what Tony says about that one. Well, every one of them, of course, is important to the townships, but if we can at least knock off some of the ones that, that have, community benefit, there's volunteers, people involved in this that are waiting, that might be their only funds. Those are the ones that try to pick out first out of here, and then we can tackle into some of the bigger ones as we knock out these little ones, if that's all right. That's my kind of way of thinking. Another look just to make sure. All right, there's a Niles Historical Society for roof repairs and other items to promote and increase tourism. We can look at that one also, please. And then, Jim, if you could, just like I said, just reach out to Warren Civic Music and ask them if they've applied for anything from Warren first. They're only asking for 10, but even if they did 5 and 5 like we did before, Once you see in here, he jumps out at you. Did we get anything for Gustavus Town Hall yet? I know Gustavus had a road project, but they also told me they were gonna do something about a restroom on their town hall. They have an outhouse still for their trustees to use.
I don't think I saw the application.
In a while.
Yeah, we need to.
Wow. No one should have to
People in
use an
Gustavus
outhouse.
is tough.
Thought he sent it in.
They may not have yet.
I've always been intrigued by that. I mean, it's a high price tag, but even if we can get an opinion on it, that multi-jurisdictional workforce educational training center in Weathersfield Township. I don't know if that would qualify, but a big price tag, but it's pretty neat for workforce. That's me, I don't know.
We can ask, and like you said, we don't have to come forth with the whole amount, but
Yeah, let's ask on that. If they need the full amount for the project to go forward.
yeah, thanks, Jim.
Keep us busy for a little while, right?
Anyone else have anything from the departments? Alexandra?
Alexandra, Human Resources Director. Commissioners, we have a policy currently in place that the staff in the Commissioner's office take lunch from 12 to 1. The staff has expressed, the staff has asked that they go to 12 to 1 shift and a 1 to 2 shift now that they're fully staffed, or getting fully staffed. So we worked with them, it would look like 3 and 3 and 4. Amy, Shara, and Lisa, lunch would be at 1 to 2. Paula, Chelsea, Chrissy, and Dawn would be 12 to 1, so that way there would always be coverage in the office.
So we wouldn't have to shut down for an hour, we got multiple people, so even if there's a call off, we're not leaving someone hanging there alone.
Correct, yep.
Um,
Nobody would ever be alone at any time.
Paula, your department, what do you feel? Okay.
Yes.
I have no problem with that,
No problem.
Okay.
so,
I
if
will,
policy changed, do we just need to?
yeah, I'll write this up then, and then we'll have it just stated and changed, and it's just, I mean, it's an administrative decision, so
Right.
we always, you know,
We don't vote or any of that stuff, it's just a policy
Nope.
thing we could sign off
so we'll
on.
get that taken care of this week so we can get that implemented.
Okay. Very good. One issue that came up to me yesterday also, I get a phone call from the mayor of Cortland, inquiring about the Cortland Bank building. They really want a good neighbor. They're worried that someone could come in and buy that huge building with 50 offices in it and only use a little bit of it, and it'll be run down over time. They asked that we please make a decision one way or another. And they said that they would be willing to come forth if we had an interest. Portland would buy the building and lease it back to the county on a long-term lease. So if we didn't wanna buy the building ourselves and then lease it to their fire department, they wanted to buy it, keep the top floor for the fire department to sleep in, for the firemen to use as bunkhouse. And then we would have the lower levels would be for the health department, which would more than accommodate that. Christie, we'll have to talk to Martha about that, because she had talked about some ideas that we would be able to use, maybe pull a bond or something like that to buy it. But the mayor thinks they have a real good shot of a really good price of getting it for, and she said we could buy it, lease it to them, they could buy it, lease it back to us, or they could split somehow. I don't like the idea of a split owning the things together, I think it would create more problems. But if we can come up with some type of an agreement, a maintenance agreement and a lease with the city I think that would accommodate extremely well. I know the health department was even looking at Niles to lease a Niles and not buy. So financially, I'd like to move forward somehow with having some joint meetings to see with the auditor's office and our office and the city of Cortland to see if we can really make this thing happen. And the idea of Cortland buying it and then partnering up with us, I think, Jim, I don't know about you, in your past experience with that, but I think that could be a good option.
And the Board of Health is on board, sorry, this is Christie with the Auditor's Office, and the Board of Health is on board with that?
The Board of Health has already submitted
Okay.
letters to us that they
Okay.
want that facility, they'd like to move to that facility if we can make it happen. So, I didn't propose the lease part to them,
That's
but
what
if we
you're
did a
saying.
long-term, 25, 50-year lease, whatever it is, with clauses, of course, in case things change,
Yeah.
but if they have the safety and security of being able to go into a more permanent home with better conditions.
Yep.
The parking is there, centrally located. The city of Cortland, what's in it for them is, that's 50 or so employees that'll be eating lunch on Main Street in Cortland now, that's gonna help
Very nice.
all of their Main Street revitalization program.
Yep.
And it'll be an anchor right to the center of town to employ people and bring people to the center of Cortland, which I like that idea also myself. When you look at where the health department is now and where they could be in something like that, if I was an employee there, I would be crossing my fingers right now, hoping that we could do something good for them like that.
It would be nice.
And maybe at a lot more minimal of a cost than what we thought it would be by buying the building before.
Yeah, I would just be open to any negotiations, and obviously that's the top numbers, what they were proposing, but if they were to buy the building at the cost that's discussed earlier, what would the lease agreement look like, what would consider, but it's definitely something that we should at least vet, and
I'll call her back after this and see what we can get started with that. And then on the, any more word on dog pound since the last meeting?
They sent over some preliminary, that I haven't yet delved into, and Bill sent it over to me. It was forwarded to Bill Hart, and then Bill sent it over to me, regarding the land out there and the lease. I have yet to look at it. I was gonna do that after this meeting and before next meeting. I'll give you an update tomorrow, if that's okay, because I haven't looked at it yet, but they have some preliminary stuff when it comes to, shared maintenance of the snow removal, of the parking lot, things that we'd have to run by legal, obviously, but, obviously, with them being willing to essentially donate to us, that would be the key, and there'd be a definite cost savings there. As we mentioned, we already looked at the drainage issues, and, utility hookups and all that would be minimal and would go into the construction cost, but this is something that we'd have to pursue. Hopefully, our prosecutor's office is gonna work with us and make sure that, there's no stumbling blocks in the road. I know when we talk about public-private partnerships and sharing resources with public-private partnerships can be kinda messy sometimes, but, good opportunity for us to have a legal stumbling block. We need to work through those and but I'll look at it and give you an update tomorrow.
Jim, would we, with the dog pound or with the health department, or would we be able to use ARPA monies, you think, to help with the move? Lining a parking lot, resurfacing a parking lot, helping with the moving expenses, moving costs to move from one facility to another, especially being it's health department related and it's COVID money?
Normally, that's not something that was generated by COVID, unless you're saying that you have to.
Well, the increased amount of work that they had because of COVID is what caused part of the problem.
You'd have to ask that question.
Sonia?
Yeah. That's sort of a gray area. Not clear.
And then the increase with COVID, the increased amount of dogs, pets, that people had during COVID has
Yeah.
led us to some of the problems we have right now with the overpopulation of dogs, so. We have food for thought on that stuff. On 911, update on that, Alexandra has got the last two candidates. She has them touring the 911 center, one yesterday, one today. and, we hope to have input from you, the next workshop hopefully, and be able maybe to present a candidate to us for review or executive session.
Yeah, next week, I hope to place an executive session on, so we can go in, all three commissioners and myself, discuss the candidates, the remaining two candidates, discuss potentially compensation packages, whatever we need to do, that way we can look to seal the deal.
With that too, little update on that, it was brought to my attention, we need some, extra resources, 911 center to clean the place up. We had a guest out there yesterday, and there were some parts of it that need a deep cleaning. We need maintenance to get over there and straighten up a lot of the stuff that may have been overlooked for years. If our employees are still gonna work there now for the time being, we're making progress with the health department, making progress with dog pound. We haven't found the right location yet for 911, although we're still in the market for that. I'm gonna talk to Bill Hart today and see what we can do to dedicate a cleaning crew to get over there and do kind of a spring cleanup there. And there's just some dirt, grime, things that have been overlooked for years, equipment, electronic equipment, of course, collects all that dust and everything, and for the employees to work there, you know, they're already living in a basement with no windows. It used to be a morgue with who knows what the hell's living in the, you know, walls there. The least we can do is get there and clean up the dust and stuff like that for them, so to help maybe with their environment a little bit, the breathing and stuff they have. But I know there's some chemical sensitivity issues there in the basement when they've used chemicals. They've had some employees who've had breathing problems because of the confined place, but we can talk to Bill, at least get in there with a wet rag and do that. I think he'll comply with that the best we can, but sorry with you, Mauro, I'd like to charge Bill to do that, I challenge him to do it. And then that brings me around to what I talked about before, the lunch area downstairs. I met with AVI. They have an awesome new setup. Instead of the old vending machines like we have downstairs, it basically, if you've gone into a hotel and they always have that room next to it where you go in and they got the snacks and they got the ice cream and they got just a regular cooler to grab the pop out of. They have the setup that way, they call it their marketplace, where they can have fresh foods. They have racks of chips and candy and stuff. They have coolers full of drinks. They got freezers full of frozen foods and ice cream and stuff like that. You grab it, they have a scanner. You just go over to the scanner, scan the barcode, and they have a card, an AVI card that each employee will get, and they can load the card from their computer, from their bank account, and just use that. If they wanted to use a credit card, they could for a one-time purchase. But it's kinda neat. Just go pick whatever you want to eat, take it to the scanner, scan it, sit down and eat. They're willing to do that for us here. And, the gentleman I met with AVI said they were excited about the opportunity to partner up and kind of showcase this thing. I think if we have the right format there with the right food, it's kinda like a little convenience store, but you will have fresh sandwiches and meatball subs and hummus and vegetables and things like that people will be able to get fresh, that maybe we can draw some people from the jail, we can draw JFS, draw the courthouse employees to come and eat in our basement here. They, make it more of a community, county, thing. The other thing they have is like if a Rotary Club or someone else wanted to use that space for a meeting in the morning or the afternoon or on a weekend or something like that, they'd have accessibility too, that they could feed their people, have them pick whatever they want for lunch and put it on one card or whatever that the Rotary pays for, however they do that. This is something that they need about 2 months to plan to get it integrated in there. With Bill, we've already gone over some preliminary things, how to remodel and redesign the place down there. But I think this would be really cool. The other thing, the incentive we can do with this is if every employee has a card, if we're gonna reward an employee for good service or contest or something like that, that they have to boost morale, we can automatically put money right on their card or give them a gift card to the marketplace, you know, to buy them lunch or whatever. The other thing is, we talked about is, they can do box lunches, where they have 50 box lunches down there, and if someone wanted to prepay for them, or someone wanted to, if they didn't have time to eat there, they go down and just grab the box lunch, scan it, and go. So, a lot of good possibilities with it. I was pretty excited at the direction that AVI you know, the ideas he was putting into my head with this thing, and this thing's gonna keep me up at night for the next couple months till we get it done. But I would like department heads kinda jump on board with this thing a little bit too, when it happens, and encourage their employees to participate, encourage, them to maybe even jump on the committee to plan it. You know, if we can get one from each department in this building at least, then we can get some fresh ideas on how we're gonna design it. Beth, your idea already is put over overwhelmingly well as far as pictures of our tour sites, and make that like a tourism advertisement inside our cafe or inside our marketplace there. And, we can employ some artistic talents maybe of some employees, things like that to help out in the designing of this thing. And I think it'll be a place that people can relax, to leave here, to go get coffee or to go get food and then come back. I mean, you're looking at 12-minute one way if they go to Nova or wherever they go. They just go down the basement, and the elevator's gonna give employee, you know, an extra 10 to 20 minutes of break time and actually relax. And if we can plug in too and have charging stations down there and things like that, and I think it's a win-win. That's my input on that. Anybody else have anything for the good of the order?
So this is Jerry Shavers from Bracefield Community Foundation. I'd like to thank the commissioners for considering our project.
Thank you, and thanks for being so persistent, and I'm sorry, you've driven down here many times, we've gotta put you on the time clock.
Well, thank you.
Nick, anything from planning?
Not today.
Okay, that's good. Don?
No, sir, nothing new.
You guys are nice and easy. Anything coming up?
No, this is good. We covered a lot.
I'm sorry, we do have records management training coming up on June 16th, for everybody here. I've partnered up with, Yoast? Dave Yost, yeah.
Mhm.
And, they're gonna have somebody come here on site and do records management 101 training, with Todd Littell and myself. We kinda did like a joint elected officials / HR kind of training opportunity. We're working with Auditor Yoder to see if we can get it recorded, so that way those who can't make it, we can post it there, and you can watch, for every department can watch records management.
Kinda neat.
Yeah. Really excited. Our workman's comp training went really well. That was our first one that we've had in a long time. Thank you to everybody who came. That was about 2 weeks ago. So HR department's gonna continue to try to do those. Our next big one, and this will be a fan favorite, is gonna be FMLA. So that's coming to a theater near us. So we'll continuously kinda just put on these, trainings.
I had a phone call yesterday too, I didn't know how to answer, I forwarded, oh, it was an email, I'm sorry. I forwarded the email over to Diane. Someone had, emailed in and said, nobody's mowed grass yet this year. Do we have a senior program, does anyone know where we mow grass for citizens in the county? Paula?
How long have those hot clerks, I believe there used to be a program, I'm not sure if it was through the sheriff's department or,
But it was in the city of Warren though, I saw the email. So
oh, was
would be-
it the city? Oh,
I don't know
see
if
it.
the city has a grass cutting program. We did have a sheriff's department
Yeah,
program
for our
at one
county.
time with our inmates, but that's since gone by the wayside due to liability issues. Prosecutor's office, but we can certainly check with the health department in the city of Warren and I don't know if they have, I know they have a program, I don't know how expansive it is.
Do we have one in the county?
Or no, it wasn't a city of Warren, it wasn't a city of Warren, I apologize for that. The person was living in Niles, in the city of Niles. I believe wasn't it from the email?
There was, I don't know, it was an email that.
They mentioned the city of Niles.
Yes.
And, sorry, Christie.
Christie Sesteric, Auditor's Office. We did receive a phone call, in our office a few weeks ago, and we did look it up. There's some information on the senior levies, or senior services website, that there's some programs for mowing the grass, and I believe they contract with certain companies, and they're supposed to reach out to these companies and make arrangements for that.
So, I did see senior in there somewhere that they mentioned in the email.
Yeah.
So that's why I forwarded over to Diane, and I guess you can follow up with her to see if there is something in that.
If there's anything, she's always there, she'll find a way if she can to help the citizens for sure.
And
with her
typically,
program.
cities have those types of programs within the, you know,
we had a problem with our neighbor in
That's
Liberty, and we
Carmichael?
called zoning, so. That's not senior, but it's
Right.
just in general.
I mean, if it's like a nuisance, that'd be one thing, but if they need just routine maintenance and they're seniors,
Yeah.
I think a lot of cities do that for a lot of individuals, but again, it's all costly and, hours, so it depends on the program, it depends on the city and what they're looking at, but it's worth a call to the city of Niles to see if we can do that.
We had her reach out to, the person that called our office, we had them reach out to Senior Levy, because she said she
Okay.
did reach out to the company that was on the website, but it just kept ringing, so we had her call Diane at Senior Levy, so.
I'll follow up with that when I hear back from Diane on how
Yeah.
she handled that one and what we do have.
If we can call the city of Niles to see if they have anything that, the seniors like that, then
About that time right now, like, I mean, it's been dry now, but the first rain we get, it's gonna
oh, yeah.
explode. So any help we can provide would be great. We have not heard from Brandy Greenwood, so I guess they're okay funding wise. You know, they found some more funds somewhere, so I'm assuming that that's okay with the Hot Meals program. That's different, we need to know, you know, I know she said she had enough till July, but we've not heard back, so, good sign, I guess. I think that's all I have.
That's all I got. I got a lot done with the, as far as the ARP funding though, and those are just preliminary, we still have to decide on those, but at least we get the legal and make it a little bit more.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Mr. Cancel Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Since I didn't go marathon,